Hey guys, welcome to the latest edition of the Radcast News. It is the week of, first real week of October, isn't it?
Full week, yeah.
October 8th.
But it's okay,
today's the 8th,
yeah.
but like the Monday was the 5th, right? Yeah. So.
And next week is halfway through October. So as far as just news kind of around here, the Radcast will be having our latest episode that'll come out on Tuesday, again at noon. And it'll just be you and I kind of conversation just about e-commerce trends, kind of what's going on, and some opinions about just e-commerce world, because it's changing. I mean, obviously it's been changing for a while, but as we've discussed, COVID's been increasing that change, and I think it's important to highlight some of that stuff. So
I'm looking forward to that. I'll we have so many guests now, and I've gotten used to the interviewing them and trying to interject here and there. So it'll be fun to kind of share some perspective. And, we're working with a lot of clients on this. So we're kind of live in the thick of it,
right,
in a lot of ways. So, I look forward to kind of sharing my perspective and, where I see things going, where things are. And, I think it'll be good from both the technology standpoint, but some practical recommendations, and less. I think sometimes, we're getting great guests, and we want it to be approachable. And I think people learn from them, but maybe sometimes some of the businesses we start are further down the road.
Yeah.
So I think there'll be some practical advice for people that might just be getting started to brands that are making the switch from traditional retail to online. So it'll be good.
I agree. I think it'll be a good mix for the series.
How's your week been?
It's been a good week. I'm actually going back to West Virginia this weekend. My really good friends are getting married this weekend, so a little shout out to them. But so that'll be fun. Obviously staying classy is,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, of course.
Is West Virginia playing football this weekend? Is that on the docket?
Part of me wants to think they have a bye week, but I'm saying that. All I'm saying is we beat Baylor last weekend, and I was having a field day. So I was very excited about that WVU
Oklahoma's
win.
lost twice, so the whole Big 12's in a little bit of a disarray.
But WVU's winning, so that's what's important.
Yeah, that is what's important.
Right. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, here's Reiley with the news.
So our first topic for today is about Verishop, and this is a kind of online mall, so to speak. This is something that has started a couple years ago, and I think it's starting to get bigger as more brands are getting involved. I think it's changing to more business to consumer. And I think I was actually kind of waiting for this to happen, to be honest, like a digital mall, because a lot of malls are going out of business anyway, and I don't think that's necessarily been a COVID trend. I think that's just been over the last few years trend.
Yep.
But I'm anxious to see kind of how this develops.
Yeah, it's been. I had heard of this. It's about a year old, and I'd heard of it, and it's one of those things where, at least on my personal radar, not professional, it was on my professional radar more than my personal radar for shopping. I was like, okay, I get it that millennials or even my age group probably isn't shopping for fashion on Amazon. We're shopping there everywhere else. And no offense, Macy's or other places, the retail environments just online haven't been wonderful. So this hit my radar as, okay, how are they going to start to curate stuff? How are they going to make this experience different or better in a way that from Amazon? And they've done a really good job curating. But now it's interesting because if you go to Amazon, because I will occasionally need some staples, like T-shirts or like basics that for wear, and I'll go to Amazon, at least do that, and inevitably it will bring up stuff that I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's counterfeit. Like it doesn't look, because it'll bring up, like I'll go looking for undershirts and it'll bring up, like a button down or something. It looks it looks good. The models always make it look good.
Right.
And then I'm like, it doesn't look. It looks like it. One dry cleaner, one wash, it's probably going to fall apart or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. I haven't felt like there's been a true outlet for fashion online that's curated well, easy to shop, and like all the benefits that you want from the Amazon experience, but then in the curated way that where you can shop in different ways, whether it's collections, whether it's popular items, those kind of things. And I know Amazon does that, but it's just never felt right for fashion for me. And I think so. I paid attention from that, but now with the ability for anyone that's starting D2C to do this with their real products, they're calling it verified shops, is really interesting to me as an alternative to Amazon, and a more natural fit for them. I noticed that a wallet that I actually carry and have had since they did it as a GoFundMe or one of those type things like 5 years ago. I've had this thing forever. It's called Ridge, the Ridge wallet. Shout out to you, free commercial for the Ridge. The Ridge wallet. I've never had a back pocket wallet, and I've always had a pocket wallet, and they're on there. And that to me makes sense because it's kind of a fashion, a functionality, and more of a modern product that never made sense to me on Amazon. Right. Maybe just subjectively making that comment.
I mean, I hear you. Like I feel like when I saw this, it made me feel, I go back to this a lot, but it gave me a sense of credibility to what they're actually selling, and that, you know, they have to be verified, and it's almost a sense of you're trusting that this product is entirely suitable and just very nice. Like it's to your point about Amazon clothes maybe falling apart, or like it gives you like the sense of hope that this is going to be more like authentic and reliable,
premium, and more. Is something about where I buy my protein powder and vitamins and books. I don't know if I not trust is the wrong word, but is this the style? Is this really giving me the style? I know they're trying to get there. They're doing luxury products. Look, Amazon's a beast, you know. So I'm
we'll
not
get
really,
to that in a second too.
but it makes a lot of sense to me for D2C brands that are looking for a natural extension beyond their own website, that want to sell elsewhere. And the great thing is, like, the difference is with Amazon, they want to. A lot of that is working with distributors and with their stuff, where you have to create, like, let's say you're selling blouses or something. Right. You have to go produce 500 of them to store at Amazon's things. You have to assume that cost up front. With this platform and with Verishop, you have that more ability to produce on demand as you accrue orders and as you build that up. You don't have to go store it in there, that you can ship direct and things like that. So there's a lot of benefits here for D2C brands in the fashion space especially.
I'm going to link this in the episode notes. So for those listening, you'll be able to find it there. But it's definitely interesting, and I'm very excited to see where this goes, because, I mean, it's going to be something that I'm going to be like, oh,
yeah, and it's a more natural place for them to kind of to curate their own brand. And again, I know someone's going to listen to this and go, well, you can do that on Amazon now. I know that you can, and I know that they have brand pages and all that stuff. I know that we've worked with cosmetic companies. We've worked with businesses that tried to do that. Right. And it never really took off completely in the way that they wanted, because it wasn't curating it around other products and other fashion accessories and things like that naturally. Yeah. And so I think this would be a good place to leverage the brand, keep the brand they've probably hopefully built on their own site, collecting their own customers, but another outlet. So
I agree. Cool. This is a great transition, actually. We're going to talk about big tech, monopoly power. And obviously, we can always already think about the big tech giants here: Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook. There's been a lot of controversy, I would say, over the last couple of years in terms of, are they getting too big? What are they doing with our data? You know, all those questions, right? And so I think this is a very interesting way to highlight, you know, not just because you're big tech, you're not necessarily above the law, so to speak. They're necessarily, it's not that, you know, everything needs to be regulated super highly, but I think this brings a point of, are they becoming too big?
Yeah. This one hits home for me. I've been thinking a lot about this. And I'll start by saying, I believe in a free market. I believe in, you know, capitalism. And so I don't think a company has to necessarily apologize for growing and the American dream of getting huge and being big and providing a service. Now, with that said, I do think with that come challenges, because especially COVID has actually accelerated this among a lot of other things, because the small guys just have had no chance with what's gone on. Everything's moved online, and the ones that have the dollars and the infrastructure to take that on are the Googles, the Amazons, the Facebooks, and I'll lob in there the Walmarts and the Costcos, and the big guys have just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and the mom and pops and the small to medium businesses are eroding. Because they haven't been able to weather the storm. Maybe they weren't ready for e-commerce and what's happened in a COVID world. And then they're coming out in a leveraged place where, getting loans to stay alive, trying to survive, and the big are getting bigger. And I don't have or pretend, I'm a marketer. I'm not a politician or all I know is, if small to medium businesses start to fold completely or in mass like they are now, you have less taxes coming in, and you have these big corporations that are leveraging tax breaks. Where are we going to have the taxes? Because, for the economy and for everything else to survive. So it's in our best interest in a lot of ways. One, because everyone deserves to have the American dream and the opportunity to do that. And two, we need a base of businesses that feed taxes and income tax, and it's a pattern, it's a cycle. You get further down the complete monopoly road when there's 7, 8, 9, 10 big players, and I'll lob even Best Buy in there, because where else do you go to get a TV now? It's like Best Buy and everywhere else.
Right.
I know that you buy them online and things like that, but as far as brick and mortar goes, because I remember if you remember, there was Circuit City, Best Buy, can't remember every name, but there were like 7 places where you could competitively go buy a TV or stereo or whatever, and now it's pretty much Best Buy or maybe a mom or pop here and there. And that's even brick and mortar, but in online, everybody say there's more competition, but Amazon's swooping that up, Walmart.com's swooping that up,
Target too.
Yep, Target. There's like 10 to 15 players in this space, and I'm talking all consumer products right now, not to mention online advertising. It's Google, Facebook, and everything else. I don't have the solution. I'm not, if I was lucky enough to have started Google or Walmart, I might have a different perspective. And I'm not saying you have to bust these companies up, but this is going to come to a head, and it's a problem. And I think we've got to find the middle ground of supporting small to medium business, giving them a level playing field, while also allowing the free market to be free. And it's a complicated issue.
That's a very fine line, and it's just, how do you stay on it? We'll see how, I guess, what happens. That'll be something we'll follow back up on, I'm sure, as that continues. Third topic for today, which this was something I think we have been anticipating for a very long time, and it's been stuff we've even talked about, Instagram shopping on Reels. We've already had Instagram shopping. That's been a thing for a while now, but I think this makes sense because I think this begins more of the trend of just live stream shopping. Just, you see people try on the product. I mean, I know for me, like if I see, one of the influencers that I follow on Instagram and she's like, oh, hey, I just bought this shirt. It fits great. I'll put the link in my bio, whatever. I feel I trust her a lot more than just, some other reviews that could or could not be a robot review, or what I mean? So I think this will give a lot more engagement to that kind of e-commerce trend. Yep. But I'm looking forward to seeing where else this is going to go.
Yeah, I love it. Video content is so much more engaging, and now seeing a natural transition for you to know and shop directly in it, and transitioning to a one-to-one attribution where watch this video, purchase this product. It was a little clunky before. That video plays a role, but it's difficult to know, especially if you watch TV now, and they might go online and do things, but that attribution of what media influenced that purchase, anything that gets you closer to that, I'm a fan of. And it's all about the seamlessness of it, which I do think Instagram's getting closer. I don't think they've gotten it completely. Some of it's just technology figured out. I'd love to see like the ability for like interactive pop-ups to happen like almost in the video and stuff where you click. That's very technology intense to leverage that. I'm sure we're going to get there. TikTok will probably follow, and I mean it's all video, so you'll start to see this, I'm sure, across there as they build out their ad platform.
I agree.
And you know, it's just another way for influencers and the curation of things. You know, it's another lever for brands to leverage with influencers and even their own stuff. And it feels like it was just a matter of when and not if.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree. And your point about the seamlessness of it, I mean, there have been products that I've bought before, saw on Instagram, purchased on Instagram, you know what I mean? And it was just an absolutely seamless transaction, and I didn't leave and then go to like another app or anything and then purchase it from there. So I think that's smart on Instagram.
And I think big brands are doing this, but if I counsel like small to medium business owners that might be listening to this, make it easy for your customers to leverage your content into purchase. So that can mean everything from B2B to B2C, whether you're selling blue jeans or internet service. It's create a frictionless experience from content to purchase. And that's what this is getting down. It may be video and it may be these things, but I think it is a more macro of removing friction from content to sale. And every business can learn from that.
Absolutely. And then this kind of, I guess, even this all flows together so nicely today. I love this last one. So I'm sure we've all seen the viral video that's gone on TikTok of the man skating on his skateboard, listening to Dreams, and he's drinking his cranberry juice. Ocean Spray, this was so smart on their part, got on board on this too, bought him a new truck, and also I just think that's sweet. But I mean, this is I think a business appropriately responding to the viral nature of a product.
Yep.
And I just think this is really smart.
I think this is like the American way right here. This is nothing encapsulates. Because, I mean, I'm not saying you don't see this in Europe or whatever, or the Middle East. Like, I'm sure it happens. We just don't see the news. But this just feels like an American story, American business story. And now with, like, leveraging social media in the moment, hats off to Ocean Spray. I'm sure, I guarantee you they've had an uptick of sales. The song is in an uptick and that's back to this notion. I know everyone wants to get paid yesterday, but, and I know that it's a fine line with like rights management and things like this, but if you'll ride the wave of content, like when it's happened, and not worry about like, well, all these people are posting the song and not using rights management. It's like, you know, as an agency, we toil over that sometimes. You know, we're not trying to rip off someone, but we want to make it better. We're trying to leverage the song, and there are commercial rights, and I'm not saying they shouldn't get it, but like letting this slide, the Fleetwood Mac, you know, this song hits like Spotify's top 5, and I don't know what the royalties are on that. I'm sure it's hundreds of thousands, something down the line, more than they would have gotten for one play as an ad on a television spot.
Oh, for sure.
And especially the awareness.
I'm humming it all the I'm in the office. I'm like,
yeah, exactly. And so you leverage that. Ocean Spray was big. And then I think, you know, the offshoots, we did this for a client. We have a Burger Boy or Burger Guy or the Hamburglar, you know, for a smaller LTO Burger, which is a brand that we work with here in Greenville. Really cool brand, and we're doing some fun stuff. They're letting us have a lot of fun, and we've got a guy that dresses up like a burger and has been going around town, and Josh is awesome. He works on our team, and you know, he got on his skateboard and rode around, and we did some fun stuff with that. And I know it's gotten a lot of views on their stuff. You know, sometimes you just piggyback and get on the ride of something that's culturally relevant. And I definitely recommend brands to do that.
Exactly.
And a lot have. You've seen it kind of everywhere. Almost like the fly last night from the
oh my gosh.
from the president, vice president.
Pence.
Yeah, but
bless his heart.
Good, bad, or indifferent here sometimes. But
honestly, for a second, I was like, "Is there a fly on my TV?" And then
everyone
in America for a second thought that.
But yeah, this is awesome, and you know, the American dream. You know, you're just drinking your ocean spray and do a TikTok. And
I love it.
Next thing you know, you got a car.
Exactly.
I think you got $10,000. Like
Yeah.
it's gone. There's like
Yeah.
this GoFundMe or something. So
I gotta think about that with coffee or something.
But this is why every kid and every person's trying to get become the next X star. This is what
Right.
what you dream of happening, and it's so organic. Like you
gosh,
don't know what's gonna. Because people have done. I'm not saying they've done this exact thing, but some kid somewhere has done something clever today with, big pens,
Right.
or whatever, and it never gets seen. There's like this magical formula sometimes for this content that spikes off, and it's great.
Yeah. No, that's it for us this week. And then stay tuned for Tuesday for our just e-commerce kind of recap. What's going on?
Cool.
Trends.
That's all for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Radcast.
Have a great weekend.